Hi everyone. So let's just wait 1 more minute, and then we'll start.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, hi. Okay, let's begin. So welcome everyone at our 53rd weekly DeFi governance call. So we have a very interesting agenda for today. So hopefully some discussions. So we will start traditionally with contest updates and then switch to the next topics. Actually, we have two contests which are currently in the voting stage. So the first one is a decentralized Launchpad architecture and design. That there are 3 days left to vote. So there are a lot of good demos prepared by the participants. And some of them are joining today to answer the questions from jurors, if any. But hopefully we will have some discussions about the decentralized Launchpad. And the second one is the Freeton DEX implementation stage 3, which was prolonged once again because we didn't collect the quorum. But hopefully now I see that there are at least 10 votes for each submission, and that means that we have a quorum finally. And in 4 days, the voting ends, and then we will move to the distribution of prizes. So, which is very, very good for the participants. The contest of Freeton self-sovereign identity stage 2 has ended. Congrats to winners, and the payouts for this contest and for the oracles was performed late last week. So finally the prizes just found the happy owners, happy winners. So congrats again. What's next actually? So we are waiting for the finalization of the DEX contest, so which is the last stage of the Freeton DEX contest, and then we will move further to the security audit of the solutions, but it will not be done in this specific sub-governance, but rather in format one. So I really appreciate motivate you guys who has developed the solutions for this contest to go to the formats of governance and ask them to run the audit, and I will also help you with this. As for the Freeton self-sovereign identity stage 3, the contest is currently in the preparation, and hopefully some draft will be published next week. So currently everyone who can do this, they are in Lisbon at different exhibitions again. So I myself, and this time, stayed at home. But there are some good Freeton agents working in the fields. So once they are back, so we will be able to finalize the third stage of the Freeton SSI contest. For the decentralized Launchpad, so after the architecture is selected, so I personally didn't have a chance yet to deeply look into submissions, and it's still this pleasure waits for me for tomorrow. But I believe that there are some good and interesting approaches, so and we may select several of them for the implementation stage. So we will discuss this next week, definitely. Do you have any questions at this point on the contest updates, please? 3, 2, 1. Nothing. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. This is something I personally was asked frequently. So and the most of questions started appearing over last I think 3 weeks. So the question is simple: how do I get into the tonswap official token list? It is not an easy question, frankly speaking, because we have some commitments before liquidity providers, the huge liquidity providers who are coming to Freeton, and we negotiate with different projects. And at the same time, we do not want to overwhelm the interface. So we have prepared the official procedure on how a project can get to the tonswap. So just to make a long story short, so I will not read out the whole document, so it will be shared right after the DeFi call. There are some conditions actually for a project to appear in the tonswap official list. The list will be limited, so there will be no more than 50 projects at that time. So this is pretty similar to what Uniswap does, and we are gradually moving towards having a fully scalable DAO for tonswap that will later take decisions on which project to whitelist and which one not. So that means that the room is limited actually in this list, and you will need to comply with certain requirements of your project, which well, to make a long story short, it is the project should be live. And it should provide enough liquidity and activity to the tonswap. All the rest is just lyrics, and there are some just reasonable points. So I'm sure that you will read it in the document. And the form for application of projects is already created. So it's just simple Google form where you provide a generic information about your project, and if you have any questions, so we will create a dedicated contact group. So, and we have gathered a group of experts who will assess your project and decide on whether or not it should be on the list. There will be a competition between projects, so meaning that this not a one-time task to get on this list, and you must maintain your project, you must demonstrate the activity in the tonswap, and the best of the best projects will stay on the list. Later on, so we may add additional token lists that will be maintained by reputable institutions in the market. Again, this is nothing new. This is pretty much how major projects, major DEXs operate in the market, meaning SushiSwap, Uniswap, Pancake, and others. So there will be customized token lists that you can connect to the DEX for your audiences. And of course, you can already create your token liquidity pools and so on and so forth, and just get a direct link for your audience if you want them to trade on the tonswap. Time to time, we will be revising the projects that are currently operating on the tonswap, and we may ourselves approach the project if we see it's being successful, and we may decide to include it on ourselves. So that's pretty it. So it's that simple. So I will ask guys to just roll out the announcement, and you will have all the links to the documents, and you can ask any questions. Please feel free to myself or here in the DeFi group. So I expect a lot of questions. Please raise your hand. Really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Please, Alex.
Yes. What advantages will be for the project will be listed on tonswap? I know tonswap and the famous of the project is a big advantage to another project, but what may be other speed, rewards, or some, I don't know, maybe marketing, and so on?
Yeah, actually,
Thank you.
thank you for the question. So it's very easy. So currently, tonswap is the DEX with most of the liquidity. So within the Freeton network, and if your project wants to be part of this liquidity and wants to be visible in the swap and in the farming section as well, he needs to be whitelisted on the official token list. Moreover, for some projects that have a very well done business model and which have the audience, such projects can contact DeFi Alliance in frames of the Crystal Handshake program and get also the co-farming funding that will just boost their liquidity inflow and the value for the users. But this should be done as a separate process. The main thing is that we apply currently a lot of efforts for promoting tonswap across not only Freeton ecosystem. Yeah, so we also approach a lot of different media and top leading media, meaning that we want to put tonswap on the same page as major DEXs from other blockchains. And if you get listed there, so it means that you will be visible to all this new coming audience and liquidity and so on and so forth. And of course, if you want and you have some special projects, you want some co-marketing or whatever, so yeah, please, you can always contact me and my team, and we're open for discussion.
Thank you very much. And it can be every project with which have a strong technical background. Yes, as I understand.
Strong technical, marketing, good audience, good business model. So we will just. Can you mute, please, because I hear myself. Yeah, the main criteria for us is that this project should be really something that is demanded by the audience, because there is no reason to list a project just for the sake of listing. The main reason is that we want tonswap to be live and actively used, because this is good also for our liquidity providers who start earning on the exchange commission. This is also good for the project itself because it becomes more liquid. And yeah, in general, this is good for all the Freeton because we popularize different projects who are successful within the Freeton, and we will also highlight those that are growing really fast.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome. Who's next? Yeah, Alex again. Oh,
no. Sorry.
Okay.
It's my hand.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so no questions in this case. So I will ask my guys just to distribute the announcement, and you will find all the links to the procedure itself and to the application form. So it's very easy. So actually, just make sure to fulfill the preconditions for whitelisting and then submit your application. So we are not very bureaucratic. The only thing is that part of the listing team are members of the development team of the tonswap. So, and typically we will collect the applications until the first day of the next month, and then process all the applications all together within a frame of 2 weeks. So hopefully we will see first listings early next month. Okay, so let's move on. The next topic is a decentralized Launchpad AMA session. So I gave the opportunity to jurors and participants to discuss in one place. So we have created a dedicated group, so where only the participants and jurors are present. And participants prepared very, very good demos. So and I really appreciate this, and thank you so much for your proactivity and responsiveness. And now let's just move on. If any jurors are here and they have any questions to participants, so please start raising your hands. And just for the sake of the format, so let's start going submission by submission. So submission number 1, which is just, let me open the contest. Just give me a second. The interface is not that fast. Who of you guys is the first submission? Just raise your hand. Maybe it will be faster. Okay, so
presented, I guess. Sorry? Not presented, I guess.
Probably not presented. Okay. So this is actually the submission of 40-foot project, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, seems like this. Does anyone have any questions? So let's at least pick them here. So raise your hand, please.
But we don't have anyone who answers them, right? So what's the point?
Okay. Okay. In this case, so just drop the questions in the chat. So yeah. Okay, no one. The second submission is there is no contact information in here in the submission itself, and no naming for Launchpad.
Yeah, I'm here from the submission 2, sorry.
Okay, Yaroslav, nice to meet you. Okay, guys,
Yeah.
do you have any questions to Yaroslav, please? Three, two, one, no. Okay, Yaroslav, your work is clear enough.
Cool.
But I definitely expect that you will start getting some questions closer to the voting deadline. That's typically how it works. So just please be aware, and just in the last day of the submission voting. Normally it happens that jurors start voting in the very last day.
I see. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. The third submission is the Killer Rail podcast. Mitja is here. So guys, if you have any questions to Mitja, so some of you may have already even participated in this event that they hosted earlier this week. So if you have any questions, please raise your hands. Again, no one. Okay. Mitja, everything is clear for guys.
I hope so. Like I did killed like half an hour on just trying to, put a video on. But...
Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you so much. Let's go to the fourth one. MVC of decentralized Launchpad. His author is here. There's also no contact information inside the page.
Vlad, maybe instead of just going one by one, maybe we'll ask anyone. Is anyone have any question about any submission? Just because
good question.
Long time now, just don't see anyone having any questions.
Yeah.
So every submission is completely clear. There are no questions whatsoever, you see.
Absolutely. Okay. In this case, so let's just move on. So yeah, thank you so much, Yaroslav and Luca. So let's move to the questions that Ilya has posted in the DeFi group. So actually, I'm not sure that I will be able to answer all of them because Sergey, who was willing to participate, unfortunately didn't manage to do this because he's deeply in the meetings in Lisbon. So let me try at least. Tell us about the burning of 3 billions. When, how, all at once? Actually, when, definitely this year. So how? So we didn't decide yet, but maybe Mitja can propose, because he has already have some ideas about how to do this. Because typically it is either sending to some address that will never be used, but maybe Mitja can propose something additionally. So good to have him here. Mitja?
In terms of burning tokens?
Yep, turning ton 3 billion 3-ton crystals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we can, like, there are a few things we can do. I think we can send it to an address that will have a smart contract that then will have and then make a set code to the smart contract, which will delete the keys, and that will be provably like address where the tokens will not be able to be returned. Like if you read the code, like it should be burner smart contract. That's what basically I'm saying. So so anyone can see that this code cannot be executed to withdraw any money from there ever.
Okay.
I think that's the kind of probably the only way to do that on Triton. Right, so we create a locker contract, burner contract, and we publish the code. It should be really simple. Everyone could see that. And we deploy this code. There can be funky stuff done with the address, like we can, I don't know, play with the code to make a hash, like, I don't know, nicer. And yeah, because I will ask the question, I will answer the question, why not just simply to send it to zeros? Well, because these are system smart contracts and nobody knows who had maybe the key from this address, just didn't deploy it on the deployment of the network. Like it will be much harder to prove that this is impossible, because like you need to go into read the specs of the whole blockchain to see if it's impossible or not. But yeah, here this one is much clearer, because here's the code. Just read the code. That's the address. That's the code. It doesn't have a set code.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can mine some nice address. So we actually have a tool for just mining some beauty addresses. So in our GitHub as well. So we can just adapt it after the contract is ready. So we can just run it for, I don't know, 1 week and see if we manage to at least mine a good, nice looking address. But it's not important at all. So you can have any address almost, so just but with the right contract deployed on it. Thank you, Mitja. So the second question is that DeFi Alliance announced its goals to bring Triton to the top 100. Is a timeline for this goal, year and 5? Yeah, actually, this is our ambition until the end of next year to enter the top 100 of CoinMarketCap by valuation. And to do this, so there are certain amount of work needs to be done, and enough liquidity locked in the network, because such liquidity will mean that there is a live interest for ton crystals, and this can just push the token price up, and also help us to improve the valuation of the project. Currently, we are at the 260 some place, if I remember it well. Maybe something changed, but at least we are in the top 300, which is very good. And earlier this week we finally got the official valuation of our project by CoinMarketCap. So that was a challenge. So yeah, the answer is until the end of next year. Explain the motivation for potential startups and partnerships to move to free tone. That actually really depends on on the project itself, so on how they perceive the network. But typically, when we are doing the business development, so we are saying about the hard features of Freeton, let me name it like this, so meaning the speed and low gas fees, and also scalability and all other things that we put in inside the new brand name. But also this means that we are talking about the ecosystem that is currently being born, and a lot of passionate community members that are expecting those projects to appear here. And the main thing here is that not everything is just attracting projects only by some rational reasons. They also see, look at the popularity of the protocol. They see at the marketing efforts about what is written in media, about what is said by the community members. So not everything depends purely on our business development. That means that you as a community member can also do a lot to attract those projects just by going to the sites, to the official chat groups, and just discussing about the why Freeton is great. So, and if you are here, so probably you are convinced. So just think about what convinces you that Freeton is great, and probably this is the same reason why other projects will come here. So yeah, so I hope I managed to answer. Maybe Sergey will just add something next week. By the way, he already said to me that he's ready for an AMA, regular AMA session next week. So if you have any other questions, so please prepare them for the next weekly call. When will you do farming DeBot? Well, that's a question. So we have quite a limited capacity now. So because as you may know, we strongly focused now on rolling out the missing features of the Freeton Bridge and to EVM networks. There is still a lot of work to do, and we unfortunately have quite tight schedule, and our roadmap is strongly planned until the end of the year, and I'm not sure that we will be able to even approach this task this year. But on the other hand, we all of our contracts are open sourced, so and if you're willing to help us with building such a depot, so you're free to do this, so please. Will the CrystalWallet support DeBots? Not likely, because CrystalWallet is not a chat client like Surf, for example. So you already have DeBots support in the Surf, so feel free to use it, please. Stepan Kamentsov shared information about the financial system of the bridge. If there is anything else to say, we will listen with pleasure. We are currently preparing the light paper of the bridge. I hope that we will be able to release it soon. So it's not a full white paper like philosophical document about the mission of the bridge, but it's a document that concentrates on how the bridge works and why it will be successful. And it also contains some highlights on how the economical system works. So I think that Stepan shared with you almost everything that is crucial, and some things are coming. So I will just keep them secret for now, because they will just be something that no one has done before. So, and this thing may be successful, maybe not, but at least we believe that it will be a really good solution that can be used by other projects. In the year's perspective, what would be more profitable, bridge staking or farming and bridge pairs? So we're not giving investment advice. Sorry, guys. We cannot recommend you anything. So just educate in terms of financials, and just make your own calculations and your own judgments. So yeah, we cannot and will not anyhow affect your decision in terms of investments. Explain what kind of stupid mechanics tip 3 is, why it turns out that each project has its own tip3, how it works, isn't this a problem? Well, to say,
I can comment on that.
yeah, I will give you a word, sure. So actually, we are being born currently. So we are not the project that has a solid background already and thousands of projects launched and whatever. So no one says that this or that implementation of tip3 is the most rightful one. Each one implementation has some rationale behind it. So in Broxus, for example, so our implementation of tip3 was mainly born together with the bridge, so and the requirements of the bridge to function. And consequently, when we were building tonswap as well, so we added some extra features to the standard, like gas management or wallet deployment in the process of token transfer, just because we made thousands and tens of thousands of different tests, and we personally met certain problems with using just pure vanilla tip3 specifications that was proposed by Mitja. So that doesn't mean that other implementations are good or bad. So they are just using different products, and one day probably, so we will just try to unify them, but until then,
no, we won't. It's impossible.
Or
This
won't.
is technically impossible.
Yeah, yeah.
To unify them. Please just remember, this is a distributed programming paradigm in which the tip3, the whole point of tip3 is that it's a distributed token. It doesn't have a hash map of the owners, and that means that the contract is very tiny, and they should be tiny. And sometimes you need to implement like a lot of additional features on top of the tip3 contract itself. And these features, they require separate interfaces, right? So what you would do in Ethereum, you would create like a hash map and then just add all the interfaces you would possibly need to that. This is impossible to do because in that will create a monstrous tip3 wallet contract, which will be deployed for each of the owners individually, which is not feasible. Well, first of all, the network, just that right now, it has 16 kilobytes limit of the contract size message in the deployment. So like if you want to deploy these contracts fast and not create any funky mechanism of deploying and then setting the code and then adding to that, which is a nightmare by itself, you just don't do that. And the point is that we don't need a unified standard because there is no problem in creating you create a tip3 token for your project. For example, in FLEX, in Bridge, it was one thing that Broxus needed to add, like an interfaces, and in FLEX, it's completely other thing that we needed to add, and we choose to add that and drop some other interfaces, so it will be tiny contract, and the gas payment for that will be small, and the deployment will be in one message, and so on and so forth. The same thing goes for every project that you want to use tip3. So tip3 is not a standard in this normal, like in the Ethereum kind of way. It is a way to program, and you can add interfaces, and you need to describe these interfaces in the tip3 documentation, but you don't need to actually have all the tokens to have the same interface. So how do they talk to each other? Well, it's very simple, through wrappers, and it's really simple to do. And there is no problem to take one token and one in the bridge token and make it tradable on Flex. And of course, we already have that contract written, so we will demonstrate it when the Flex will go out. It will trade tokens which you post on Swap or in bridge, no problem. Because when you want to do that, you just send one message to the contract, it will wrap one token, give you another, deploy the pair, that's it. Because the gas fees are so small in Freeton, there's simply no difference. And it's actually economically more feasible to do is through the wrapper. If you collect and you combine all the fees, then the fees that your huge hash map with all the contract with all the interfaces would pay. Because for every interface you pay, right? Because you store them, right? So if you combine all these fees together, it is cheaper to wrap then just for the, so from every perspective you look at this, in the sharded architecture, like Freeton, if you wanted to scale infinitely, you need to follow this programming paradigm. If you follow this programming paradigm, you look at the contract specifications and standardizations different way. Okay, that's it.
Okay, thank you, Mitja. So I hope that answers your question. All right, I hope that I at least managed to give some clarity on your questions.
For the 1000th time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
yes.
need to write it one more time in the forum, I think, or something, so we can.
Probably. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Please link to this. Yeah, Zachary, please. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just turned on my mic. Sorry. Thank you. Thanks, Vlad and Mitja, to explaining the token contract. And just want to be specific, like for our project, which is a TonLoot, and we're trying to issue our in-game token. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, according to Mitja, then we can just write a contract based on the existing TIP3 standards, right? And when the FLEX is ready, then we can basically just write a wrapper on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
If I'm not wrong, Mitja already has the wrapper from Broxus TIP3 to FLEX TIP3. Yeah. So Mitja, if you can drop the link maybe to the wrapper contract.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, you just send the
that'll be great
there and then that's it.
Okay. So we can have the wrapper standards, right? From a link, or we need to send the contract to you.
No, you can.
No. We will publish. I will publish the link and you can. Yeah.
It's already in place, in fact. So you can just use the builder, for example, for convenience, and then if you need to publish, also you're talking on FLEX.
Well, you need to provide this wrapper with you. Like you need to create the wrapper. So you take the wrapper, you put your code of your contract inside this wrapper, and we will write some README next week for that.
Okay. Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, Zachary. Any other questions, guys, please? Okay. In this case, just as the last point, so a minute of shameless self-promotion. So we finally managed to release our first mobile versions of CrystalWallet. So the main challenge was to fight with Apple and Google stores support, because it was a nightmare. So, but finally we managed to do this, and both wallets are in stores. So, and we really appreciate if you provide us with your feedback. So, just in the TonCrystalWallet Telegram group. So we are eager to hear that, because we already know about some issues, but hopefully they're not critical. They're just mostly of the linked with the interface. And at the next step, we plan to implement the multi-signature support and external account subscription, like in the Chrome extension. So if you have any ideas or demands, so don't hesitate to drop them in the group. So we are carefully listening to all the feedback and just putting this in our roadmap, and hopefully one day we will implement it. Yeah, so thank you. Okay, so that's pretty it for today's agenda. So if you have any other open questions, so please raise your hand. Time to ask. Okay, seems nothing. In this case, thank you everyone for attending. So it was a really pleasant and interesting discussion for today. So I wish you a nice weekend and see you all next week at the same time. So see ya.
Okay, see you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.